Lecture 1.6b. This is day 2 of our review of evaluating trig functions. This photo is President Garfield's house at the President James A. Garfield National Historic Site in Mentor, Ohio, in the days when it was considered unseemly for presidents to actively campaign. Candidate Garfield sat on this porch and met reporters and admirers and well-wishers while others conducted his campaign. First, a little review. Answer as quickly as you can. Secant 0 is 1. Sine pi is 0. Cosine 0 is 1. Cotangent 3 pi over 2 is 0. Cosecant 3 pi over 2 is negative 1. Secant 3 pi over 2 is undefined. For each of these, find the spot on the unit circle, think about the definition of the function, and you should be able to find the value of the function. A few more. Secant pi over 2 equals undefined. Cotangent 0 is undefined. Secant pi is negative 1. Sine 3 pi over 2 is negative 1. Cosine pi over 2 is 0. Tangent of pi is 0. Remember, a large part of the AP exam is no calculator. You have to be able to evaluate these functions quickly. We can find exact values for certain angles using special triangles. The first is the 45-degree triangle. If we let the two perpendicular sides have a length of 1, then the hypotenuse is c equals the square root of 1 squared plus 1 squared, or radical 2. So we have sides 1, 1, and radical 2. That's easy to remember. So the sine of 45 degrees is 1 over radical 2, or radical 2 over 2. The cosine of 45 degrees is 1 over radical 2, or radical 2 over 2. The tangent of 45 degrees is 1 over 1, or 1. If we superimpose this triangle on a unit circle, the hypotenuse would have a length of 1, and the triangle would look like this. The sides would be radical 2 over 2, radical 2 over 2, and the hypotenuse would be 1. In calculus, we frequently do not have to rationalize the denominator, so we can cheat and relabel the sides. 1, 1, radical 2, just like we used before. This is not a unit circle anymore, but these labels let us quickly evaluate the trig functions. Sine theta equals 1 over radical 2. You're welcome to rationalize the denominator anytime you like, but usually we don't have to. Cosine theta equals 1 over radical 2. Tangent theta equals 1. Secant theta equals 1 over cosine, which is just radical 2. Cosecant theta equals 1 over sine, which is radical 2. And cotangent theta is 1 over tangent theta, or 1. Move the triangle to find other values. In this position, we have a -1, a 1, and a radical 2. So the x-coordinate is negative. Sine theta is still 1 over radical 2, but cosine theta is -1 over radical 2. Tangent theta is -1. Secant theta, still 1 over cosine, negative radical 2. Cosecant theta is still 1 over sine, which is radical 2. And cotangent theta is 1 over tangent, or -1. When theta is 5 pi over 4, we get the triangle in this position. And we have two negative sides. Both the x and y coordinates are negative. So sine theta is -1 over radical 2. Cosine theta is -1 over radical 2. Tangent theta is 1 because the negative signs cancel out. Secant theta is negative radical 2. Cosecant theta is negative radical 2. And cotangent theta is 1. Finally, in this position, theta is 7 pi over 4. The sides are 1, -1, and radical 2. And we could use those sides and the hypotenuse to come up with new values. The y-coordinate is the -1 in this case. So sine of theta is -1 over radical 2. Cosine of theta is 1 over radical 2. Tangent theta is -1. Secant theta is radical 2. Remember, 1 over cosine. Cosecant theta is negative radical 2. And cotangent theta is -1. It is great if you can memorize these or picture the unit circle or special triangles in your mind. However, a quick sketch and a correct answer is always better than a guess and a wrong answer.